Hey everyone, this is Jared and MML. This video should be my sit down and review number 2 of World of Horror, going over the characters, specifically Aiko in this one. I'm going right on the character select screen, so that's how basically my order of doing things. But basically I'm just going to try to get into it. I did record this once before, but I wasn't quite happy with what I had. Maybe I'll use this one instead, but yeah, like I said, let's get into it. We're going through Aiko right now, who is in, I believe the World of Horror community, or anyone who knows this game, is they usually prefer to pick Aiko, because she just grants the highest rate of survival in their opinion. I would believe that's what they think, and I would have to agree with that, because yeah, it's just looking at her. So if you haven't seen my video before, if you haven't seen the Kyria video before, I'm going to review these characters mainly from a gameplay standpoint, basically looking at their perks, their passive, how they interact with the game itself, usually on a True Believer run. So that's why when I say these things, they're balanced for a True Believer run, which will relate to one of our perks, which I believe is changed based on the difficulty, or well, just looking at numbers, because that's just how the difficulty scaling works. But let's just get into it. So Aiko, looking at her base stats right here: strength 7 strength, 8 dexterity, 7 perception, 5 knowledge, 6 charisma. Everybody usually considers strength and or dexterity more valuable, especially with and perception as well for those who like to run army knife or like to pick up weapons, or you happen to pick up a weapon or a firearm weapon. Then, yeah, perception is really valuable, and I can see the reason why. Otherwise, dexterity, obviously, for the best weapon in the game, or if you pick up a steak knife. And then strength, if you pick up one of those weapons from a boss or whatnot. Or you just happen to just have get a free weapon, which is usually a strength weapon, and other items of that nature. Obviously, there are no charisma weapons, and you could build knowledge, but with Aiko, you're probably going to build into one of these 3 instead, if you're the type to build towards a stat. So there's that. If you hear things in the background, then that's things in the background. I'm sorry, but just to get back to it. So Aiko's passive that she starts with a faster offensive actions. So what I mean, if I get into encounter, I'll show you then. But until then, I will go over her skills. That said, yeah, let's just go into scissors right away just to see if we can get to an encounter right away. So yeah, let's just do this first. Like I said, the free weapon here is a wooden bat. Sorry for the click there. I clicked my tongue. Yeah. Yeah, Aiko specifically, her passive is really good, just to speak on a general level, because, well, I mean, it's faster offensive actions, and you're likely going to run into an encounter that you'll probably fight through, so there's no reason not to make use of the fact that all of her offensive actions are faster, which means you'll likely kill things before it does too much damage, as opposed to a character that does not have this passive. And that's specific to Aiko because, well, it's Aiko. So if even going through Endless, some people like to pick Aiko, but yeah, in a regular run, just surviving, it helps as well. So what I mean by that is her passive is that she has faster offensive actions. Most people will start with 1.0 times multiplier. Aiko starts with a 0.9 times multiplier. Ultimately, it's just off the top. If you don't have a weapon, this allows her to kick 4 times. Other characters would only be able to kick 3 times, and then you can mess with the RNG there. But the option to kick 4 times is a lot more helpful, and it's helped me a lot more often than I would like to believe, especially as it relates to bracing into doing attacks, which I'll show you maybe. But like I said, it's only offensive actions for Aiko, so defensive actions, spiritual actions, and support actions are still a multiplier of 1. So yeah, her passive is not a general multiplier. It's an offensive action multiplier. I might as well go over one of her perks now that I'm in encounter. One of her perks is called Fast Swimmer, and it basically makes your combat gives you faster offensive actions. And what I mean by that is it boosts your offensive action speed by 15%. So ultimately, basically what you'll do is take your multiplier. I can't mouse over it, otherwise it goes away. But you take your multiplier and you multiply it by 0.85. So for every other character, it'll just be 0.85. For Aiko, it'll turn into 0.77. Mathematically, if you multiply, it's 76.5, but the game rounds up in this specific case, so that's just how it is. But ultimately, you are a lot faster, and that can allow you to get, for Aiko, that can allow you to get 2 attack boosts for guaranteed weapon attacks, or maybe even a prep into an attack if you use things like Carpenter Hammer and whatnot. Specifically for this encounter, I'll probably just be able to do a prep into a regular attack, which like I said, if I didn't have her passive, I would not be able to do that. So, I mean, it's probably not the most efficient thing to do for me right here. I could gamble. So, like I said, that's Fast Swimmer, and normally you'll take that. A lot of people value faster actions very highly in this game, and I would agree, and I see the reason behind that. Nice 90%, by the way. So I guess we can move on to our other perks. So, like I said, Fast Swimmer would usually be my prioritized perk. There might be other situations when I take other perks instead. Usually I'll take Fast Swimmer. But as for her next perk, Discipline, which is the second perk I'd probably take, tied with Fast Swimmer, which is regain. I gain 1 stamina for all past stat checks. Now this is kind of situational, in that the only situation when you would not take it for sure is if you're on an ill-fated backstory. Right now I'm on that's not right. I'm on a World of Horror, but if I was on ill-fated, then Discipline doesn't really do anything for me because I can't pass any stat checks that you roll for. So you don't get stamina there. That's just that. Otherwise, in any other run, you would probably consider taking Discipline. I would consider taking Discipline over a lot of other character perks if I was playing Aiko and I had all character perks unlocked. So that's just that. I actually might just die this run. So I'll figure out what to do from there. But like I said, Discipline would be my second perk. My third most picked perk, if I was on a character-specific perks only run with Aiko, would be Hot Bath. And that's... The description says improve resting at home. Ultimately, what it does is it adds you gain one more stamina and reason from resting at home. When you rest at home, you gain 2 stamina, 2 reason for 4% doom. With Hot Bath, you would gain 3 stamina and 3 reason for 4% doom. On a Goizo run, so ultimately, Hot Bath is a good perk. I might even take it over Discipline, obviously, if I have ill-fated, but I take it over I would take it over Discipline, especially if I'm considering resting a lot more often. That way, I'm getting more for my buck. I don't actually look at my rest action at home more in terms of what I get per doom. So what I mean by that is, if it's not a if it's a lighthouse rest or better, it's great. And what I define a lighthouse rest as basically if you're trading 2% doom for 1 stamina, 1 reason, then that's a lighthouse rest, because that's how much you gain from resting at the lighthouse. And specifically, lighthouse rest is not affected by any effects, no matter what. So, but resting at home can be affected by the mystery effect after, where it reduces your stamina reason, or a Goizo, where it increases the amount of doom that you spend by resting. However, if you take Hot Bath, then you counteract one, or at least both of those, if you really need to. I mean, it's +1 stamina, +1 reason, on top of any effects that you may already have. So, that's just an option if you have it. And last but not least is the Running Shoes perk, which for Aiko, which is I would probably take the least. However, I would take it if I consider running from a lot of encounters. What I mean by that is, on Tree Believer specifically, this is where I said that the difficulty might make a difference. I can't check it right now, but I remember from my last recording as well, that when you run in True Believer, it costs 5% Doom. If you take Running Shoes, I'm pretty sure it's 3% Doom for running, which is a huge difference, because that 2% doom does add up. If you run at least 2 or 3 times, then it starts adding up into more encounters you can run from, especially if it's encounters that you don't want to fight. Obviously, Running Shoes is less valuable because you can't run from boss encounters, and you can't run if it's a Spider God run, so in a Spider God run, there's absolutely no worth for Running Shoes. So there's that. So here, actually, like I said, what I'm probably going to do is... Ooh, that's not what I wanted to save. Is do this. Like I said, Aiko benefits a lot from her passive in almost every run, which is why I can understand why people put her highly on a tier list. Because, yeah, having faster offensive actions usually allows you to break a threshold at some point. And by a threshold, I mean most characters will probably be taking extra damage when they don't need to. Aiko, on the other hand, might be able to kill things faster by 1 turn, which does make a difference, because that would save you either -1 all or -2 all for Scissor Woman or any other encounter that you run into where you're just taking extra damage. So I probably could have Desperation earlier. That was just my fault, but like I said, this is a soft run. I'm not really paying too much attention. So like right here, I look at this and I go, well, do I want half bath? I might want to rest a lot more this run. Otherwise, I'll take fast swimmer. That way I might be able to sneak in more extra attacks. And then I'll just heal stamina here. So other people would deign to increase their stat as well and take hot bath. But that's what I mean by Aiko has a lot of good perks that you can choose from, that you don't really, that you have the freedom to choose what you want to do, as opposed to other characters where they have a few perks that you're kind of, well, if you pick one perk, you're doing a certain build, or you're picking another perk and it's all you can have, or you might even take a general perk, where as Aiko, you're usually just taking a, one of her perks because all of them are good. Unless, like I said, hot bath, less useful in Goizo, but you still might take it. Running shoes, almost useless, if not useless in a Spider God run because you can't escape from encounters. So there's that. So without further ado, I don't think there's anything else to review on. If I forget, feel free to say so in the comment section below. Otherwise, yeah, I'll probably put out with another video. Yeah, I'll be more than happy to put out extra extensions of videos if I forget anything that people want me to talk about. Otherwise, I'll just go through this run and kind of try to review Aiko. If not, then if I do end the video here, then if you've made it up to this point, this is a really short video, shorter than even my first recording, but I thank you for watching. I do plan to do the rest. Haru should be next because he's next on the right in the character selection screen. But I do plan to do all of the characters. So if you made it this far, then I thank you for watching. JRDNMML out. Otherwise, I will probably just continue this video, and like I said, I'll just review Aiko, just saying what she can and cannot do, and why people might like her, and what other builds you can do. The thing about Aiko, though, is that you can build her almost any way you want. So, like I said, you may pick up a knowledge-based weapon, but at that point, you're just doing it for the fun because, you know, like, she has the stats that most people want in her. If you pick up a steak knife, her dexterity is already at 8. If you pick up the katana, I mean, same thing. Most strength weapons that are free, like the meat cleaver and vigil, the wooden bat in school, like I just picked up, the fire axe, if you get that, or the flamethrower, if you happen to get that. But at that point, I would argue you're already very good. Or probably going to pass that run. And then perception is at 7, which is nice for like I said, for firearms. And usually you can build in, if you're the type to build into a stat, then all you need to, usually 8 is the stat lucky number that you want to hit, both for Lighthouse and for being able to fit more actions in a turn or guarantee your attacks in a turn. So there's that. So funny thing that I did, my first recording, is I killed myself here because I accidentally hit protect, and then I died as Aiko, and I had the katana at that point. But even then, you can see how even without katana, which isn't a fair argument because if you have katana, every character is good, even Haru, or at least it makes the run a breeze. But for Aiko specifically, like I said, her dexterity starts at 8, and yeah, she just survives the run. I took the experience there, but like I said, I'm just going through. So like I said, going to the vigil here is also a source of a free weapon. But even if you don't have a weapon, Aiko starts with 4 kicks right off the bat. So that's just really, really good. Really, really good. Again, level up here, stamina for all stats, improve resting, which would counteract the fetid fumes. So basically allows me to rest comfortably again. However, I might take discipline, but I'm just going to take hot bath because maybe I'll decide to rest. Third mystery, 32% doom. I can afford to rest a couple of times. And then I'll just up my stamina. Otherwise, I'd up my strength here. Let's up my strength here and let's see if I can break a threshold. Like I said, as Aiko, I normally wouldn't even do this. I normally want to heal instead, but it's just so much. And then with hot bath, also the other perk to hot bath, so I guess I'll keep this review going, and is that, yeah, there are, I think, 2 events that it's used for. At least in that one, it allows you to heal a lot more. So if you have hot bath, yeah, it's useful there. Clap, clap, bow, bow. So, ooh, I almost clicked out. And then we go, and, you know, yeah. Like I said, with Aiko, I feel a lot more comfortable playing Aiko, as opposed to, like, say, playing Haru. Even though Haru is my favorite character, Aiko is just, yeah, I see why she's very, she's very good. So there's that. Pick up the free meat cleaver. Meat cleaver is also one, to do some math right here. If I was Aiko with 8, 24, 66, which allows me to do 3 attack boosts in case an enemy with power comes by. So like I said, another boon, another plus for Aiko is that with this meat cleaver, I'll probably take it because it's faster, even though with that 5%, I'm willing to gamble that, so that's fine. And yeah, we'll keep going. But with Aiko, if you just build 1 strength or 1 perception, then usually, like I said, you might be able to do a threshold. So like I said, here you can definitely hit 7. I could probably hit 7 before, but that's also because I took Fast Swimmer as well. So with Aiko, you're just able to just bash this guy in. I could probably 2-shot him. So, but then I'm more comfortable in 2-shotting him. I hit all of those attacks even, so there's that, as opposed to, say, if I was Koji or Haru or Mizuki, then I would probably, I have a higher chance of having to kill him in 3 turns as opposed to just 2 turns. Here I'm going to take Fondest Memory because I know I have Hot Bath, so I'll probably just go in. Also, out of funds, I've started taking the Stamina or Reason damage a lot more often, unless, of course, I think I'm going to take more damage. Like I said, with Aiko, though, since I have Hot Bath, I feel more comfortable taking the damage. That way I can rest as soon as I get out of this mystery. Because if I really want to, I don't even have to fight this old man here. I could just sacrifice the two Gets. Even against the Magician here, I'm just going to bash him a bunch. If I could fit a strong attack, I would. Probably with another strength point, I might be able to fit it in. Actually, let's check that right now. So, that... it doesn't show right here, but that's another math thing. It's a visual bug that's happening right now. But if I had to, I probably might be able to. No, probably not. But no, yeah, I would, because I would remove that. I would have 123 still, and then I could probably fit this in. So if I put in another attack, another strength, right on top of Fast Swimmer, then I'd be able to. Like I said, this is all the perks of playing Aiko. In other words, yes, I would recommend beginners play Aiko over Kyrie. Otherwise, I mean, unless you just consider Kyrie a waifu more and you want to play her. Otherwise, like I said, you don't need to. When I review here, it's mainly so that it's mainly from the gameplay standpoint. And like I said, as you can see me playing right here, Aiko definitely benefits a lot from her own perks if you're on a character-specific run. I see a lot of people take her through Endless and survive just fine. As opposed to, like I said, other characters where their perks, you might even just take a generic perk over her perk, over their character-specific perks, and so on and so forth. So, like I said, we're going to keep going on. And so this is a review and commentary over what I'm doing, I guess, which is why I kind of classified Kyrie the same way. If I was Kyrie, I mean, I would probably have taken more damage by now, and I do have footage into coma left, so I'm going to do footage right now. Everything's already had a damage increase. If I was on... so I guess another thing I could do is go over the God synergy, I guess, mainly Ithotu and Spider God. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Aiko in Spider God and Ithotu is pretty much better than the other characters because, well, I mean, faster offensive options means you have a chance of them not doing as much damage. In Spider God, you can't run, so the fact that you're forced to fight means you're making the use of Aiko's passive and her perks if you pick them up. Otherwise, in Ithotu, both you and the enemy is dealing more damage, and if you have faster actions, you have a chance of defeating the enemy faster. So, I mean, as opposed to other characters where they have a cost or a requisite that comes with them, Aiko immediately starts off the bat with faster actions. Like I said right here, 410 billion, this is Reason if I take the gun, but I think I'm just going to escape for Reason heal. Otherwise, I could have taken the gun if I didn't have a weapon, and I would have benefited from it because I had Perception to spare. So there's that. Like I said, I'm probably just going to roll this anyway, because on a good run, if I hit all 4 of these, then I might have a chance to pretty much one-shot him this turn. Actually, I think I can do this. Close. But no, yeah, I can do this because I just attack boost twice into this, and that's why I said taking Fast Swimmer. If I didn't have Fast Swimmer, I probably wouldn't have been able to do that. Well, guaranteed anyway. I probably still would have gambled on it, but other characters wouldn't have been able to do even stack 2 of those, most likely, at that point. So here I just got all generic perks. I could just reroll. Also, my Doom is raising pretty high, so there's that. Because I rested a whole bunch, so that's more on me. But still, yeah, it's not bad basically. We'll see how far I get. I got lucky there. I could have also just been forced to investigate a lot more, which would have been more Doom. Most importantly for me. And then we'll move on to Coma. This is going to be 3 reasons at the end because I don't need to fight the boss. And like I said, that's why I kind of like to rubber band all the characters together. So I don't think Aiko is way up there and like the toppest tier. I do think she's a very, very good character, especially for beginners. But once you're more knowledgeable in the game, then you kind of treat all the characters. I personally treat all the characters, I rubber band them more towards they're all usable. They just have their own little quirks and things about them, which I think Panstiz did a good job of balancing them. So I don't really think any character really needs to be changed, and I, as a game dev myself, that's why I like to think things in terms of design standpoint. But if enough people ask for it, and if it does get changed, I mean, it's not like I wouldn't understand the reason why specifically. You know, Haru, maybe Koji getting a special camera. There's been talks of that among the community. So yeah, like I said, there I can kind of understand what kind of changes would be there. It'd definitely be interesting, and if Panstiz does decide to do that, then like I said, I understand the reason why. I should actually be attack boosting one of these. No reason not to, unless I'm against Glitch Magician or Time Warper. And I just took a bunch of damage there for no reason. But that's just our bad RNG though. That's not Aiko's fault. That could have happened with any other character, and with any other character, I probably wouldn't have been able to even have a chance of reliably defeating her in 2 turns. So there's that. However, I am dying here, so I'm going to enter here, get the free painkillers. Maybe sell these as well. Can't sell this, and then Forest Tapes is doing nothing for me, so there's that. And then another thing I like to do is that, especially with Aiko, if you have the chance, is to go buy cigarettes. Other characters you can do this as well. Haru, you almost want to do that. I personally, I'll talk about that when I get to the Haru video. But yeah, smoking cigarettes makes me even faster. And so this is the other one where hot bath is useful. So like I said, with Aiko, if I wasn't Aiko, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I would have probably spent 1 funds there, but I got extra healing where I took damage from that encounter. So like I said, if this isn't even just a showcase, then yeah, showcase of how good Aiko is, then well, here you go. So investigate here. Another thing I did, I'll see what I do, is that I messed up there too in another recording, but yeah, let's take... I didn't check the lighthouse. I should have checked the lighthouse, but I should be more than good actually to that end. No, actually I'm not good. So let's take charisma here just to be sure. No, let's take stamina because I need stamina just in case. And then, yeah, but as I was saying earlier, if this doesn't show how good Aiko is, even with the mistakes I've made, then yeah, Aiko is a very good character, and I'm not going to argue that. I'm just saying every other character is also just as usable. So there's that. I didn't even check the sigils. I don't even know what my checks are going to be. If I took charisma, that would be fine, but I have more than enough reason to survive the lighthouse. Takashi-san's just going to get obliterated by me, because I'm so fast now. So like I said, what did I'm smoking cigarettes, so I have a general multiplier, and yeah, that adds it's a 0.9 or 10% boost. For Aiko, that puts my offensive actions down to 0.69. Oh, please. But yeah, but no, seriously though, like, look at how many attacks I'm allowed with a weapon that does 4, and this is even an average weapon. Imagine if I had a katana. Takashi-san would be dead by now. So there's that. I could probably even I could probably mash through this and be fine. So I'm going to mash through this. Even if I die, that's going to be on me. But like I said, if this isn't a showcase on how good Aiko is, then yeah, Aiko is a very good character. I'm not going to argue it. All of her perks are good. Her base stats really complement how people usually like to play the game, especially for beginners, or if you're just doing brute forcing and you're not really paying attention. then there's that. But if there's anything I missed, then like I said, feel free to comment down below. If there are any builds that you like to play as Aiko, I'd be happy to hear it. I like to learn new things about this game. Obviously, I'm not the most knowledgeable, and even then I make mistakes, so there's that. And I plan to do every character in the future, but this is Aiko's review video. If you liked it, please do what you can and continue watching the future videos. Otherwise, this is Jared and MML, and I'm out. Thank you.